Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm Mikey Hiro Chono.
And I am Shiro Koshinaka.
Welcome to episode 314, G1 Climax Final, 1998.
Second round.
No tagline.
Yeah, I think that the video said second round, so yeah. I just threw it in there.
Sure.
Yeah, second round, round 2, part 2, something like that.
So this is the 8th annual G1 Climax produced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. It would take place between July 31st and August 2nd, 1998, all from the Ryogoku Gugugakan in Tokyo, Japan, with an attendance of 11,000 to 11,500 for all 3 nights.
I mean, pretty incredible stuff.
Agreed. But we are in Japan. So, Michael, did you do what you do?
I came in clutch on accident.
Yup.
They recently, Suntory makes those shoju drinks in Japan. It's like basically alcoholic seltzer, but they've been doing it for a long time. I purchased them in the past from the Asian market here, and I saw at the regular liquor store they have them now, maybe a different brand, but Suntory negative 196, I don't know, but I grabbed lemon and grapefruit, and this one says it's vodka, so not soju, so I'm just thinking this is kind of more like a high noon. I don't know how authentic it is, but it is at least based on the Japanese alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
it's like their version of a White Claw in a way?
Yeah. Except for, I think, it's like, instead of using malt liquor like a White Claw, it's actual alcohol.
It says
some lemon.
Real whole fruit, frozen and crushed at negative 196 Celsius using a proprietary Japanese process, then infused with premium vodka and natural flavors to deliver ultimate refreshing taste and whole fruit flavors.
I didn't read the can. Thank you, Shane.
Little clinky clink.
Yep.
Try this lemon.
It smelled like Sprite. It kind of tastes like Sprite.
Tastes like it.
Yeah, more lemony than the lemon lime, but
yeah. But I mean, there's no
bite,
no boozy flavor.
No, there's no boozy flavor at all.
Kind of just tastes like soda.
Yeah.
Let's try that grapefruit one.
Yeah, no problem. The they're 5.5% alcohol, nothing crazy. Only 3 grams of sugar. Pretty impressive considering I'd say it's pretty sweet tasting.
It's that natural flavor. Say when.
That's good.
Good sound effects too.
I will say that it's not as good as those ones that I bought. Remember that, for Wrestle Kingdom?
Wrestle Kingdom one year we
do this directly under and see what sound I get.
Which sounds like a Kobe Sprite commercial, or maybe even Penny.
It definitely has a sizzle.
Yeah.
All right, grapefruit.
Michael's still over there.
Smells like
lemon.
He gave himself a little extra on that lemon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a sucker for lemon flavored stuff. Grapefruit, too.
A little clinky clink for the grapefruit. Try this one out.
Yeah, these could be dangerous because there's no taste of alcohol.
I mean, luckily, it's I think $12 for a 4-pack. So even if you crushed 4 of them, you probably wouldn't get hammered enough to
I mean, it's close to 6 points, so I mean it's a full flavor beer.
You can definitely catch a buzz, but I think that if you got your normal amount of sleep, you'd probably be okay.
Yeah, probably.
So it's they could be dangerous, but if a 4-pack, pretty safe.
I'd say so.
If you're just going,
Which one did you like better?
That's tough because they're both
They're both the
good.
The flavor is very forward on both of them. So it's
hit the grapefruit.
Like, I like the grapefruit more than I expected to like the grapefruit one.
I did too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go grapefruit.
Yeah.
I mean, the grapefruit surprised me, but I do think I like it.
I mean, I'll have to wait. I'll drink a little more of it down.
Well,
I'll have to do
what
like
you
I
do.
normally do. Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta.
So you gotta mix them now.
Yeah, you gotta
Gotta.
do a suicide. Here, I'll grab another lemon if you want to hear it. Because there's not much left in that one. Try to make it even.
Swirl.
Grab a lemon so Shane can do the same.
Yep.
That one's tapped out.
The lemon kind of overtakes the grapefruit flavor a little
Does
bit.
it?
I think so.
Oh, let me take a
But-
sip beforehand. As I added just a little splash of lemon to that one before.
Yeah, the lemon is a little stronger. Well, I think it's maybe stronger on the
it's
back
still good, but
Yeah. It went from Fresca to Squirt when you mix the two.
Yeah.
And then, from Sprite to Fresca to Squirt.
Well, something that would happen right around the same time as this G1 climax, Brandy and Monica would be in the middle of a 13-week run at number 1 with The Boy Is Mine.
The boy is mine.
Incredible song.
Yep.
Couldn't get away from it. I remember this spring break era of MTV for sure. The song was everywhere. And I hadn't heard it in a long time because I don't know that it gets a whole lot of radio play, and I don't think anybody listens to the radio anymore.
It plays somewhat frequently at my restaurant just because on the Pandora stations that I have set up to run through, there's a 90s pop station, 90s, 2000s, and today's.
But yeah, the song rules. I remember it's probably like 6 years ago or more at this point, but I went to, there used to be this like kind of DIY punk fest in Oklahoma City called Everything's Not Okay. And, in between bands, the venues play songs or whatever. And basically everybody sang along and like just danced when the song came on. It's like, oh damn, this song's still a certified banger all these years later. And it was the first time I'd heard it in a long time. I'm like, damn, this song, it's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, Brandy and Monica could really do no wrong, solo and together.
But this song is the biggest hit for either of them, right? Like, this song together has got to be their most successful song for...
Very possible.
13 weeks at number 1.
I got to see both of them in their starting days.
I mean, it was the lead single for both their albums. So I would...
Oh, it was on each record?
It was on each
They
record.
they recorded this and they're like, wait a second.
Oh, yeah.
We both need this one.
There is no featuring.
It is a true two-hander.
Yeah. No, I got to see Brandy and Monica separately. Brandy was the opening act for Boyz II Men in 1994. And then Monica was the opening act for TLC in 95. So yeah, seeing them in their starting phases and watching them grow and then having this hit song come out, a few years into their career. It was awesome.
When a long time ago, before the Kim Kardashian sex tape, my friend, he really liked Ray J.
Yeah, Brandy's brother.
I know, exactly, and that's what he said. But he's like kind of a bit of a mushmouth guy that talks too fast. So, we were like driving around like in his like minivan or something. You're like, Sammy, what the fuck are we listening to? And he's like, Ray J's. It's Brandy's brother, but it just sounded like he said it's Randy's brother. So we're like, who the fuck is Randy? He's like, no, Brandy. It's Brandy's brother. And I think of that every time I think of Brandy as Ray J. It's like, who the fuck is Ray J? And now I would say he's still most famous for Kim Kardashian's sex tape.
Yeah.
And I don't remember any of the songs that Sammy made me listen to. He'd always put, if he had a bit of a buzz, it was Ray J and then Seal's Greatest Hits. So I'm pretty sure Seal has one hit. So I don't know where you got a CD that has 10 songs on it, but maybe I'm just woefully uninformed on the music career of Seal.
I gotta look up more Brandy songs.
I can't think of one, but...
I mean, I Want to Be Down. I remember that one. Have You Ever? Sitting Up in My Room.
Have you ever...
Best Friend. Trying to remember, I Do It For
I
You.
mean, Have You Ever hit number one as well?
Yeah, that's why I was like, that's how I remember that one. Because I was like, I remember that one, but the other ones I do not.
Almost
But they just did
doesn't
a remix that just got released last year with Ariana Grande.
Yep.
They added a
As I
verse.
said, I was just saying something about after decades of a strained relationship, the re-recording helps reignite a spark in their friendship.
Yeah, it was gonna be my question: is what have either of them been up to?
Monica had 3 number ones the first night, and Angel of Mine as well.
Oh, I know Angel of Mine.
Yeah.
But they like where have they been for the last 30 years? Are they acting? Are they like in Tyler Perry stuff?
I mean, Brandy's done kind of some Disney live action movies.
Brandy was in a Christmas movie last year that was not good.
Yeah, she was Cinderella all those years ago.
Oh,
Whitney
yeah.
Houston as her fairy godmother. I want to say she's had a few attempts of reigniting her music career in different genres.
I assume she went the gospel route at some point.
I think she tried like the rap hip hop route at one point.
Monica looks like she's releasing a couple albums this year. One of them possibly even a country album.
Ooh, everybody got to get on the
produced
country
by
train.
Brandy Carlisle.
She's working with another Brandy, huh?
I assume they're both doing fine, but they're probably on the auntie train, who's the ones that are probably propelling their careers at this point. The women that were fans of theirs when they were younger and just kept up with it.
But both those albums were supposed to come out last year. Let's see here.
Brandy
Did it
had
actually come
Moesha.
out?
Yeah.
She was also the co-star of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
Those albums did not come out last year.
No.
Maybe they decided to give it a little bit of a breather since Beyonce did a country album.
It says that she served as a judge on the first season of America's Got Talent. She's played Roxy Hart in the musical Chicago.
So they've been keeping working.
Yep. She had a reality series with Ray J, A Family Business.
But there's just like no place, especially now where there's like barely any pop stars, like for pop stars that are 40. It's not much of a thing.
I'm trying to remember if she was on that. Oh, they had like a pop
Are we talking Monica?
Five Eva or something like that on Peacock. I can't remember if Brandy was on that cast or not.
Do not know.
Let's see.
She was in A24's The Front Room.
I hadn't heard of that one.
She was in Descendants, where she was Cinderella.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the George Clooney movie. It's like, no, I don't think there was. I think all the people in that movie were white.
No, she was not in that girl's Five Eva. I don't know who I was thinking of in that one. Crazy. She's 46 years old.
Yeah, and she looks great. That's crazy. I mean, it's not that crazy.
Both of them do.
Yep.
But
Monica's 44. Yep. The Boy Is Mine.
a certified hood classic. Not hood classic. That had plenty of crossover.
Yeah,
You couldn't
give
escape
up.
it.
Had about enough.
A certified American classic.
I mean, I can still...
I'm sorry.
I still hear the melody and
seem to be confused.
and that first line in my head. Like,
Yeah.
As soon as you say the words "the boy is mine," I just go.
Yeah. Honestly, I heard at the beginning, "The boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine, the boy is mine."
Yeah. What's funny is that the verse has just as strong of a melody as the chorus. Like, I might not remember all the words to the verses, but I know the melody to the verses.
Absolutely.
There was a reason that it was such a hit.
We all ready to talk some G1?
Let's do it.
Yup.
Okay, so this year's version is a 16-man single elimination tournament. And we went out to Internet Archive and found a copy, a videotape, that had every match on it. But that led to like a 4.5 hour long show.
Whew.
So we decided to curate it down to just the quarterfinals on, which was part 2 of the videotape.
Which makes sense. It's always a hard choice because it's like, this is some of our favorite stuff, but 4 hours, guys.
Yeah. Oftentimes we find ourselves saying, I wish I could have seen more, but then there's been times where we've seen more, like they showed us way too much.
Yeah.
So we open on highlights of the first round from our competitors with narration in Japanese. And Have y'all kept up with y'all's Duolingo?
Absolutely not.
I had a printout of it, but I forgot to bring it with me.
Yeah, your analog Duolingo.
Yes.
So we get the title and date of the show before seeing footage from outside the arena where a line has formed to get in the building.
What a gorgeous arena.
Mm-hmm.
It is. And we go straight to our first match. Tadao Yasuda versus Satoshi Kojima in a quarterfinals matchup. When we last saw Yasuda at G1 Climax 97, episode 262, and Satoshi at Final Power Hall, episode 288. Tadao got past Big Titan, which was the fake Razor Ramon,
Oh.
while Kojima defeated Hiroyoshi Tenzan in the first round.
Kojima's not NWO, right?
No,
He's not. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, Tenzan is NWO. I was like, I don't think he is, but
So Tadao uses his power early on with shoulder blocks and choke lifts when Satoshi hits a suplex and a senton, only for Yasuda to return the favor, sending Kojima to the floor to regroup. Now back in the ring, Tadao hammers away, grabbing a headlock to wear down his opponent. But after a break, the two trade strikes, which doesn't go Satoshi's way, followed by running into a big boot and locked in an ab stretch.
I mean, Yasuda is gigantic.
Former sumo wrestler.
He's a big guy.
And Kojima escapes the ab stretch with a hip toss, before taking the fight to the mat with a double leg takedown, working the leg with holds and forcing Yasuda to make the ropes. Kojima goes for an elbow drop, only for Tadao to move and hit one of his own, allowing him to go back to wearing down his opponent. When Satoshi fights his way free for the two to trade massive chops, that ends up knocking Kojima down.
I mean, the guy's got a foot on him.
Yasuda with a body slam and goes for an elbow drop, but Satoshi moves in time before a corner clothesline and a Koji cutter.
I love good, hard, mean wrestling.
Satoshi heads up top, only for Yadao to press slam him, followed by sumo chops, a corner splash, and a double underhook suplex for a 2 count. Yasuda goes for a big boot, but Kojima catches it and counters it into a German suplex to leave both men down momentarily. Now once back to their feet, Satoshi with a running forearm in a corner and goes up top to nail a diving elbow drop for a near fall. Kojima goes up again, but Tadao's made it back to his feet, so Satoshi flies off with a missile drop kick for a 2 count. Kojima goes for the running lariat, only to run right into the big fist of Yasuda, before dropping him with a reverse bulldog for a near fall. Tadao then goes for a double underhook suplex. Satoshi blocks and fights back with strikes, only to charge in to a dropkick. Yasuda then delivers a tiger driver for the pin, and no! Kojima kicks out. Tadao with a body slam and heads up top, but Satoshi meets him there for a superplex,
Damn.
followed by going up for a diving senton that gets a 2 count. And Kojima goes up top to hit a diving elbow drop for a near fall, before a running lariat for the pin and the win. Post-match, we get words from our competitors in Japanese, which happens after most of these matches.
That's the deal. But yeah, strong boys, strong style.
Hot start.
Name of the game.
We then go to our second match. Kazuo Yamasaki versus Kensuke Sasaki in a quarterfinals matchup. Last time we saw Yamasaki was at G1 Climax 97, episode 262, and Kensuke at Final Power Hall, episode 288. Kazuo won against Tatsumi Fujinami, and Sasaki had bested Michyoshi Ohara in the first round.
I mean, it's a big win for Kazuo, and Kazuo's the bald gentleman.
Correct.
Yes.
Who's not as, he's like on his way up. Because
Yeah.
he's a younger guy. But I remember liking
he's
him.
actually older. He's been with the UFI
Oh, okay.
for quite some time, and he's now
Working his way up.
working in
Yeah.
New Japan.
Is this the first time we've seen him, though?
No. We've seen him quite a few times.
But he's one of those guys that I was like, oh, I like the cut of his jib. And then Sasaki we've seen a bunch of times.
Yes. Sasaki was giving me like baby Roman Reigns vibes as he was walking into the ring on this one. Just his look. The slick black hair, the goatee. There's just,
Big handsome boy.
Yeah.
So Yamasaki attacks before the bell with kicks, trying to take down his opponent, only for Kensuke to block it first and go for kicks of his own. But Kazuo catches one for a dragon screw leg whip and wants to work the leg.
Love a dragon screw.
When Sasaki kicks him away to get back to his feet. And they look to lock up in a test of strength. Yeah. Only for Yamasaki to deliver a roundhouse kick to take Kensuke down and begin working the leg until the ropes are reached.
Right to the side of the skull.
The two trade strikes when Kazuo goes for a spinning heel kick. But Sasaki catches and slams him down. And Kensuke keeps it up with lariats for 2 counts, only for Yamasaki to counter into a leg lock to continue the punishment on Sasaki's extremities, followed by more kicks, but Kensuke returns the favor with knees to the gut. A power slam and stranglehold gamma is locked on by Sasaki, only for Kensuke's knee to give out, allowing Kazuo to make it back to his feet to kick away at the leg. More dragon screw leg whips and a leg lock for the submission and the win.
People are behind Kazuo, and he beat the Power Warrior.
Yes.
And he beat Fujinami before that, so he's the underdog, and he's got 2 big wins under him. People are excited. And good on Sasaki did a great job selling in the match.
Yeah. I was definitely not expecting Sasaki to
Tap.
to go out, to go out that way.
Yeah, he even limps to the backstage. He doesn't. There's honor in Japan.
Yep.
So this basically means that Yamasaki had actually beaten the last 2 IWGP champions, because Fujinami is the current champion at this point, and Kazuke Sasaki had lost the belt to Fujinami.
Damn, he was super underdog coming in on that side of the bracket.
But you would have no clue, because looking at him, he's already a star.
So we go to our third match. Masahiro Chono with NWO Japan of Hiroyoshi Tenzan, Hiro Saito, and Keiji Mutoh versus Shiro Koshinaka with Heisei Ishingun of Kuniaki Kobayashi, Michyoshi Ohara, and Tatsutoshi Goto in a quarter-final matchup.
Face versus heel, obviously, NWO Japan. Chono, he's famous for his Yakuza kicks. That can't be a good guy.
And this is a rematch of the last time we saw both men at Final Power Hall, episode 288. And Chono won against Manabu Nakanishi, while Shiro advanced versus Osamu Nishimura in the first round.
I love that the more we watch of this, I'm like, I know who that is.
So the 2 men get into each other's face once in the ring, while everybody begins to brawl, including Mutoh, who hits a dragon screw leg whip to someone. Wasn't quite sure who. And the ring clears with Chono going for a Yakuza kick, but Shiro counters with a pair of hip attacks to send Masahiro bailing to regroup.
The hip attack is so funny. It's also funny to see people do it non-comedically.
Yes.
Because we're so used to seeing it done,
comedically at this point by Taguchi.
Yeah. It was way too into butts.
Yes. Back in the ring, Koshinaka's hips don't lie as he controls the match when Chono retaliates with a swinging neckbreaker and Yakuza kick. And both are back to their feet, so we get a test of strength.
Name of the game.
Until a drop toe hold by Masahiro takes the fight to the mat, where he works the leg. But Shiro counters into a body scissors and a chin lock, before transitioning into a dragon sleeper, which Chono escapes with a kick to the head. And Masahiro tosses Koshinaka to the outside to ram him into the ring post.
Posted.
Stretch and kick his leg around the guardrail, followed by returning to the ring, where Chono continues with elbows and forearms to the extremity. Shiro responds with an enziguri to take down Masahiro, and he sets up for a back suplex, only for Chono to block and go for a suplex, which Koshinaka floats over and attempts another hip attack. But Masahiro, with a forearm to the leg, takes him down. Chono then nails a side Russian leg sweep and locks on a reverse figure four before transitioning into a step-over head-hold armbar, which Shiro crawls his way to the ropes for the break.
Yeah, one of his, many STF variations, essentially.
Yeah. Masahiro heads up top and he flies off with a shoulder tackle before applying the STF with Koshinaka again making the ropes. Chono begins to climb when Shiro shoves the ref into the ropes, causing Masahiro to crouch himself.
Ref boom.
So Koshinaka takes advantage with a super German suplex for a near fall, followed by a powerbomb. Shiro then goes to the top for a flying hip attack and another powerbomb for the pin. And no, Chono kicks out.
He's got the heart of a lion. I mean, that super German suplex, he did a full rotation and landed face on the mat.
Koshinaka with a third powerbomb.
Damn.
And he locks on a Texas cloverleaf. But he loses control as Masahiro crawls to the ropes. So Shiro applies a full Nelson, only for Chono to mule kick down low and go for a lariat. But Koshinaka reverses it into a backslide for a 2 count. Now Shiro charges into a big boot and a spinning heel kick before Masahiro locks on a butterfly hold. But again, Koshinaka makes the ropes. Tenzan then jumps on the apron to distract the ref, allowing Chono to deliver a knee to the gut, followed by reapplying the butterfly hold for a submission and the win.
Thanks for coming, buddy.
That was a hot match.
Yeah.
Koshinaka, there was more than one occasion that I thought he was taking this. Because
yeah, absolutely.
Typically when I've seen Chono fight against somebody, he's just in control and kicking their ass the entire time. And
this time Chono got put through the ringer.
Yes.
I mean, that segment with the super German and multiple power bombs. It's like, well, there's no way he's getting out of here.
So we go to our fourth match. Genichiro Tenryu versus Shinya Hashimoto in a quarter-final matchup.
My big strong boy, the Vienna sausage of professional wrestlers.
How's your daddy?
So last time we saw Tenryu is Battlefield 94.
Shit.
Damn.
Episode 109. And Shinya at Final Power Hall, episode 288. Genichiro defeated Keiji Mutoh, and Hashimoto destroyed Tatsutoshi Goto in the first round.
I mean, Tenryu definitely had the more famous opponent.
Yeah.
But Shinya is, at this moment, a top guy.
But here's a little piece of context.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Shinya has never won a G1, but he's come close many, many times.
It's the crowd going wild.
So Shinya goes right to work with kicks, taking Tenryu to a corner, so the ref makes him step back, only to charge right into a big right hand, which Tiger Hattori admonishes Genichiro about, which gets him shoved down.
I mean, I love it. They're just like, nope, we're here to beat the hell out of each other.
Yep.
The two competitors start trading vicious chops, which takes Hashimoto down momentarily. But he makes it back to his feet to continue the fight, taking Tenryu down with a swinging back chop.
Yeah, that spin back fist. And Shinya's chop style, people have the back or the overhand. His is kind of over the shoulder and chest is how he typically comes down.
It's not quite Mongolian.
No, it's not quite Mongolian. It's like a single arm, swat.
Genichiro with more fists, so the ref admonishes again. before returning to chops between the two.
And by fists, Matt means he's like jabbing him closed fists in the face. That's why the ref is like, no. Like, guys can slap the hell out of each other, but no closed fists. But, he's up against basically a kaiju.
Is this the match that I'm remembering the ref, like, basically slapping one of the guys upside the head to get him to stop doing shit?
Probably, yeah. Because like he just keeps going to the jab as soon as he feels like he's in trouble.
So I kept watching, like, why is the ref slapping him like that? But that makes sense.
Shinya starts working kicks in again, so Tenryu goes back to jabs and an enziguri. Headbutt and a spinning heel kick is Hashimoto's response, followed by the two chopping each other on their knees in the middle of the ring.
Shinya Hashimoto has like 2 moves and then like 3 like signature moves, and I couldn't find him any more compelling than I do, which is funny because it's like kicks, chops, sweep kick, drop kick, and DDT, brainbuster if you're lucky. But like that's what he does, but he makes it work somehow.
Shinya lays out Genichiro, so he drops an elbow and locks on a cross arm breaker, forcing Tenryu to make the ropes, before going back to a chop fest once they get to their feet. And Genichiro gains control in a corner, charging in with a clothesline, followed by a big roundhouse kick, which leads to more chops, only for Hashimoto to fight back with overhead chops and a DDT. Now back to their feet, more traded chops, with both men feeling the weight of the exchange, when Tenryu would nail a kapu kick, an enziguri, and a folding powerbomb for a 2 count.
And to explain, because this doesn't sound as compelling as it probably is, because we're just like, oh, they chopped each other and they kicked each other. But if you've ever seen They Live, this is like basically the fight from They Live, where like these guys are just like
wailing
on each other, completely winded, and just like neither of them willing to give up.
Genichiro keeps up the attack with a body slam and a flying elbow drop for a near fall, before returning to the chops and right hands. And Tenryu heads up top, where he flies off with a shoulder tackle. But Shinya delivers a spinning wheel kick to his opponent on his way down.
So great.
And Hashimoto fires up with kicks to the chest, with the ref trying to make the break in a corner, only to be shoved away again.
Ref boom.
Followed by Shinya taking Genichiro to the top to hit a super DDT for the pin. And no, Tenryu kicks out. They trade chops once more,
With some spitting.
when Hashimoto attempts a DDT, but it's blocked. So Shinya nails some knees and a running front kick, allowing him to drop Genichiro with a DDT for the pin and the win.
I love this shit. Like I said, incredible watch. Not the easiest to explain because it is just guys hitting the hell out of each other.
Yes.
So it's like you're just watching like sweat fly, but they do such a great job of being exhausted and going like head to head with each other. And it's like just waiting for somebody to be just slow enough to get in like a power move. I love it.
Yep. Good shit.
We see shots from outside the arena as day 3 is about to begin. And we go to our 5th match. Masahiro Chono with Big Titan versus Kazuo Yamasaki in a semi-final matchup.
Fucking fake Razor made his way to Japan.
So Chono attacks before the bell, taking the fight to the floor to run Kazuo into a railing and ring post.
Posted.
Before returning to the ring for a snap suplex and a diving shoulder tackle. And Masahiro goes to run the ropes, but Yamasaki catches him with kicks and knees, only for Chono to hit a low blow to regain control. Masahiro looks to hit another suplex when Kazuo counters into an armbar, with Chono getting to the ropes immediately to force the break. Masahiro snapmares Yamasaki down and works some holds to wear down his opponent, until Kazuo escapes and locks in a single leg crab momentarily. Chono then spits in Yamasaki's eye to stun him, allowing Masahiro to go on the attack with strikes and a pile driver. But Kazuo responds by attempting a triangle choke, only for Chono to counter it into an STF, once again forcing Yamasaki to find the ropes.
Maybe one of the most perfect pile drivers I've ever seen. but I'm almost certain that his head hit the mat. So I don't know how perfect it was, but it was nasty.
Yep, these two are already just... I already want more.
Yeah.
The two fight over an ab stretch, which Masahiro attempts to block with a mule kick, but Kazuo sidesteps it and takes Chono down with an STF of his own, before transitioning into a cross arm breaker, when Masahiro would get a boot on the ropes.
In desperate fashion. I mean, we're getting laid deeper into the tournament. There's venues basically been sold out 3 days in a row, and everybody is losing it on every single surprise, big spot. Yeah, like when he gets the STF on Masahiro Chono, like the building almost like leaves the earth for a second.
Yamasaki would be sent outside, allowing Chono to recover, only to get a big roundhouse kick from Kazuo from the apron as he re-enters.
He's feeling himself.
Yamasaki would go for kicks, but Masahiro would catch and drop his opponent down to the mat, followed by a knee to the groin to regain control and apply the butterfly lock, only for Kazuo to slowly crawl his way to the ropes.
For big cheers. I mean, it was a mix of cheers and boos, obviously, because, you know, NWO is over, but there's still heels, which means a little bit more in Japan at this point than it does in America in 1998.
Do they only have one NWO in Japan?
Yes. How nice.
What that would be.
They did it correctly, where they just like, this is the thing. These are the guys.
Back to their feet, Chono charges into another roundhouse kick, with Yamasaki making the cover for a 2 count. But he then charges into a big boot, with Masahiro making the cover for a near fall. Chono tries for a Yakuza kick, only for Kazuo to nail a roundhouse kick at the same time, taking both men down, with Masahiro up first to deliver several more Yakuza kicks for a 2 count. Chono goes for one more, but Yamasaki catches the boot and turns Masahiro over into an ankle lock before transitioning into a reverse Achilles tendon hold for the submission and the win.
Just took down Chono.
I know. Sure did.
Is he another former IWGP champion?
He is.
Yeah. The dude's on a roll.
He's also a future. He's the guy who beats Fujinami for the belt. So he's literally beaten all the guys in succession.
I mean, he's the leader of the NWO.
No, Yamasaki.
Oh, sorry. I thought you guys were talking Chono, but yeah. Yeah, they've got plenty of people at the top at this point.
This is the match where I kept looking at Yamasaki and was like, this is the dude. This is my guy that I'm picking for the one.
The reverse Achilles tendon hold looks really dumb.
Yeah, it just looks like a kind of like a
he's just
knee
basically
lock, like
just
a knee
putting
lock
his forearm into the
back of his
into the
knee.
back of the leg,
and then cranking the
then cranking the leg. But at the same time, you know that has to hurt.
yeah. It's not like visually.
It's not visually
exciting.
appealing.
Yeah. And then Masahiro Chono yells "fuck." He knows more English than we know Japanese. Because he's frustrated. He didn't expect to lose.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to lose.
No.
So we're headed to our 6th match. Satoshi Kojima versus Shinya Hashimoto in a semi-final matchup.
And all I can think is lariat versus stiff kick. Bring it on.
Back and forth action to start with headlocks, chops, shoulder blocks, and strikes. When Kojima hits a body slam and a senton, only for Shinya to no-sell and deliver a roundhouse kick. And Hashimoto takes control with vicious kicks in a corner when the ref forces a break, allowing Satoshi to charge out with a clothesline and an elbow drop. The fight's taken to the mat when Shinya grabs a hammerlock, but Kojima responds with a leg lock until they return to their feet to again trade strikes, which Hashimoto gets the better of with his kicks, chops, and a double stomp.
The double stomp, I was like, damn, this guy's too big.
Satoshi catches the right hand of Shinya to stop the attack before delivering a Koji cutter and running forearms. He then heads up top for a diving elbow drop for a 2 count, followed by an elbow drop onto the knee for a near fall.
You gotta take this guy's knees out. He kicks or like a swinging 2x4.
Kojima then goes to work on the knee with a leg lock and a figure 4, forcing Hashimoto to make the ropes. Satoshi calls for the finish, and he nails a running lariat for the pin. And no, Shinya kicks out.
Not that quick.
So Kojima tries for several more, but Hashimoto stays on his feet and chops at the arm until both men fall to the mat.
Oh, yeah, I love it. He absorbs the first 2 clotheslines. The third one comes in, and he just like bats his shoulder with, just one of his big chops. Try to take the arm out.
Back on their feet, Hashimoto with a roundhouse and drop kick before some overhead chops and a DDT for the pin. And no, Satoshi kicks out and delivers another running lariat, only for Shinya to stay up, kick low, and drop Kojima with a spike DDT for the pin. And Satoshi kicks out again.
Dang.
Hashimoto goes for the brainbuster, but Kojima floats over and hits a clothesline to the back of the head, only for Shinya to answer back with a roundhouse kick and yanking the arm of Satoshi across his shoulder, followed by a DDT and a cross arm breaker for the submission and the win.
I mean,
fuck.
I love it. I like these guys. I mean, yeah, the fans were Hashimoto's super over, but Koji is not far behind him as people were excited at his resilience. And I love that double arm DDT. He like worked the arm, hit the double arm DDT, and didn't even think about covering him. He just kept hold of that arm and put on the full arm bar immediately. And it's like, oh, you got me dead to rights.
So we go to our 7th match. Kazuo Yamasaki versus Shinya Hashimoto in the G1 Climax Finals.
And all I'm thinking is these 2 guys had my 2 favorite matches up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
So bring it on.
Let's have a banger.
And they're cautious at first, with each looking to land kicks, when Shinya would take his opponent into a corner to deliver a vicious chop that sends Yamasaki to the floor to regroup. Now back in, Hashimoto hits several kicks and chops, tries for a DDT, only for Kazuo to counter into a Fujiwara armbar, which Shinya escapes quickly and bails outside. He returns for more cautious action between the two, when the strikes begin to land, taking Hashimoto down to a knee, but a front kick from Shinya changes the momentum. Hashimoto lays it in with more kicks, a back fist, and a leg sweep, only for Yamasaki to answer back with a basement drop kick, multiple kicks, and a shoulder block to the knee.
I love that. Right to the kneecap. And it's like, let me follow this up.
Yeah, usually you see the
Low drop kick.
hitting the back of the knee.
Chop
block.
Chop block.
my
Yeah.
God.
You usually see the chop block to the back of the leg, but he's doing the shoulder block to the front of the leg.
After drop kicking his knee also from the front.
Yeah.
It's like double. Yeah, it's effective. And Shinya yells out in pain, as he should.
Kazuo with a spinning leg sweep continues to work the leg with kicks and shoulder blocks when Shinya fires up with overhead chops and stiff kicks to the chest of Yamasaki.
Like only he can.
Hashimoto drops his opponent with a DDT, but Kazuo responds with another basement drop kick to regain control of the match, followed by a dragon screw leg whip that sends Shinya out to the floor. Yamasaki then flies over the ropes with a slingshot plancha before delivering more strikes, including smashing the knee against the apron. Now back inside, the attack continues with more shoulder blocks and leg whips, followed by applying an inverted reverse Achilles tendon hold.
The fans go wild because they just saw him
He
take out Chono with this. And he's been working Shinya's knee hard, and this is the second match of the night for these guys, right?
Yep.
So, you know.
And Hashimoto crawls his way to the ropes for the break. Kazuo is then kicked away as he attempts another hold, leading to the two getting to their feet, where Shinya hits multiple chops, an elbow drop, and goes for the DDT, only for Yamasaki to counter it into a sleeper with a body scissors on the mat, forcing Hashimoto to get a boot on the ropes. And the two trade strikes again, with Kazuo catching a kick and turning Shinya over into a reverse Achilles tendon hold, with Hashimoto slowly crawling to the ropes.
How much more could he have left in him?
Shinya delivers an enziguri and an inverted DDT.
Damn.
Before climbing to the top for an elbow drop and making the cover for a 2 count. Hashimoto with chops and vicious kicks. He picks up Yamasaki to nail a brainbuster for the pin and the win.
Perfect brainbuster.
Post-match, Shinya celebrates, followed by showing respect to Kazuo and being presented with trophies and a large check. Hashimoto then takes the mic to talk to the crowd before streamers are sent flying into the air with the crowd chanting Shinya's name.
But as soon as the match ends, he helps Yamasaki up, and they hold each other's arms up. And people give Yamasaki his flowers because he made it this far.
Yeah, he deserves every
Bit
flower.
of it, yeah.
Hashimoto makes his way to the back, followed by an interview with Yamasaki as he enters his locker room. We then get Shinya being interviewed in the back as well, with photographers and reporters all around. And we finish with a highlight package of different Hashimoto G1 matches through the years.
Such a great little highlight. I'm glad I stuck around for that.
It's like I said earlier, shows him having all these matches in G1, but never winning it.
He's been the bridesmaid and never the bride.
Yeah. I think this is his third finals, and he made the semifinals for the other 4 years.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. And then we fade to black. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of the G1 Climax 1998?
I mean, this is great shit. I know we didn't watch the entire tournament, but the matches we did watch were all very meaty, ass-kicking matches. There was psychology, but nobody was out here reinventing the wheel. Yeah. They all decided on a thing they were going to do at the beginning of the match, and they did their best to try to accomplish it. And I don't know if I've seen this many chops in my life, or this many chops hard enough to just send gallons of sweat flying into the air. And all of these were quote unquote strong style. Yeah. And I couldn't be happier for it.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
no complaints.
I'm that same way. It's a lot of times with the Japan shows, it's more difficult just because I don't know anything that they're saying on there. So, if I get distracted by something, I'll have to rewind and start over again because there's nothing other than the excitement in their voice to pull me back in. And this one was nonstop excitement from start to finish. I mean, there's a handful of people that I had seen a few different times over, and there's a few that apparently I've seen, but I didn't remember seeing them. Now they're standouts in my mind because, I mean, Yamasaki, from the first match, I wanted him to win the next one and win the next one and win it all because there's just the intensity of everything in this show was phenomenal.
He had the fire in him this year, and it was great that he kept it up. They gave him this chance to make it to the final, and he did not waste it at all.
So this might be one of my favorite shows we've ever watched. I'm not going to say it's the best one we've ever watched.
But pure entertainment value.
But it's up there quite a bit. The intensity just flowed out of everyone all night long.
Yep.
I mean, 11,000 people 3 nights in a row just going nuts.
And these are the matches that I love to watch. They're hard-hitting, just meaty boy matches.
And all these guys are familiar enough with each other that there was no, because sometimes in these tournaments they didn't really their chemistry was off or whatever, but these guys you could probably blindfolded them and got a match close to as good, it felt because they were just on the same wavelength the whole time, it felt like. And everybody, like the just selling ability of everybody, they were probably exhausted, but they were selling all their limbs perfectly. And just sometimes half these matches felt like these guys were just like heavy breathing, and it was still entertaining, like them just trying to stand up.
I mean, literally, that last match, you know, Kazuo's put his little Achilles tendon hold thing on a couple times, and so Hashimoto has to do the enziguri and the DDT to like try and get back into the match, because he at that moment his leg is like not great.
He's basically got one leg.
Yeah.
So it's like, I can't do anymore. I'm out of stiff kicks. Here's my last ditch effort enziguri.
Just so you know,
Mwah.
including the 3 matches here, we've seen Kazuo 7 times.
7 times?
So we've seen him twice and probably both.
I'm guessing he was in like a 6-man.
He was in a January 4th, and I'm pretty sure he was in one of the 6-mans on one of the shows. Probably both the January 4th shows that we watched him that he was in. And then I think he's been in the G1, but he's been in one match that we've seen. And I don't think he's been a guy that like we've never hand waved him.
No, we've been like, oh, this is a guy to keep your eye on, but I've never heard of him up until this point, kind of thing.
Exactly.
When we finally got like a singles match, I remember being like, oh, I like this guy. He's got fire in him.
If I've commented on him in the past, I don't remember, but he definitely caught my full attention on this show.
Yeah, I know there was a singles match that he had where I was like, oh, I'm going to remember this guy. So when he showed up, I was like, that's the guy. Didn't remember his name until I saw it here, but I was like, I know that bald head and those full, like, long pants.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? There. All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
There's too many to count.
Pick a number.
It's like the power moves are great, but so much of what makes all of these matches good are the in-between moments of guys just trying to continue after just slapping, kicking, punching the hell out of each other. I did love the jab gimmick in that match, where he just like wouldn't give up, just punching a guy in the face. One of the best brainbusters I've seen, because a lot of the times the brainbuster, they'll call it a brainbuster and it just looks like a suplex, and it's like, no, you gotta hold it up and you gotta drop him down.
Yeah, I mean, the Chono, Koshinaka, there was another energy in that match there that's the one that I had to rewatch, because I got distracted at the end of the Sasaki match. So when the Chono Koshinaka match started, I started hearing the announcers get more
Animated.
Yeah. And I was like, what am I missing? You know, reel it back in, start it all over again. And yeah, the dynamic between those two, I mean, I always said it was a rematch, but these two, if this was a rematch, they need to have just more rematches, because the vibe that they had together, it was magical.
It's also one of like the biggest heels in the company and one of the biggest like pure baby faces. So like
this was
great.
The Hogan and Sting that I wanted.
Yeah, good way to put it. And we've seen, like, I like Chono, but he's never been one of my guys, because we've seen Chono phone it in a bunch of times, and here he doesn't phone it in, and it's like, this is the Chono that everybody loves, and why he's...
And he can spam the Yakuza kick a few too many times.
Yeah, but here he doesn't do that. They're having, this is what you want out of
Superman
Chono.
Punch level.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of Chono, but I've never quite completely got it. And after this, I was like, okay, I get it. When he wants to turn it on, he'll turn it on, and this is what he's capable of. But I've always been like, yeah, I like him. I like the vibe or whatever, but I don't know if I've seen any Chono matches that I like loved. And now I have. Yeah.
I mean, I can honestly say that I've already put I put all 3 Shinya matches on our short list before even showing up today and talking to you guys.
Shinya is one of my guys, and I believe it was the...
Because, I mean, the Tenryu match, like, I think that's the best match that we watched.
That was my favorite, I think, of the Shinya.
And, like, the other two were so engaging, and I mean, especially the final, because we've now watched. I'm told, like, I could put the Chono Kazuo match on there as well, because it's a great match with tons of psychology going into it as well.
And the highs are super high, but if you want two guys just beating the teetotal shit out of each other, Tenryu Hashimoto is the meatiest match of the night. And like I said, it's not the most fun to talk about, but when you're watching it.
Like, literally when I finished, I was
crazy.
like looking at my notes and I went, that doesn't
happen.
make, like, what I just watched, it doesn't do it justice.
No.
Like, and that's unfortunately, like, when they're just hitting each other with right hands and chops, like, I can't just be like, chop, 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 because, like, that just gets boring when talking about it.
But we can promise you, if you watch this match.
But yeah, it's like, please.
You will hang on each
go
chop.
Watch that match, because it's so good.
As soon as I finished it, I was like, well, this is 110% my kind of shit. And then I was like, but I don't know how to explain it in words, because like I was like, this isn't going to be fun to talk about. But that was like my note underneath it.
I finished watching it, and I went to grab my phone to text Michael to be like, your shit's the fourth match of this show.
you nailed it.
And then I was like,
he'll figure it out.
Nope. I want him to be surprised if he hasn't watched it.
I appreciate that, because there's no matches here I didn't like, but that one I was just like, yeah. I had my eyes turned into hearts with every chop.
And I just looked it up. So Kazuo, we've seen him face Shinya 3 times, a 6-man tag, Keiji Mutoh, and then the other 2 matches that he had on this show. So literally, we've seen him with the best of the best, basically.
Yeah. Well, no wonder he works so well with them.
Yeah, it must have been one of the Shinya matches that I saw where I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on
it was
this
that.
guy.
I think it was probably the first time that we saw him, because it was the UWF versus New Japan show,
That makes
and they
sense.
were fighting each other for that whole thing. It was
like the
96, I think it was.
Yeah, it was like the war that they had.
Exactly. Do we want to keep spilling flowers on the show or move on?
I mean, I would highly suggest just watching any one of these matches we watched tonight. And I imagine the earlier part of the tournament was also very good.
Yeah, if there's a Shinya or a Kazuo, however the fuck you say it, just watch it.
Well, let's move on to most disappointing. And I'll tell you, I wish the show hadn't been 4.5 hours long.
So you could watch the whole thing?
So we watched the whole thing. Because
I mean, that's what I wrote too.
Tenryu Mutoh match
He's a classic.
If you follow Meltzer, whatever your opinion of him is,
it's at
least it's a baseline way of looking at things. Of talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 4.5 star match.
Yeah.
Tenryu and Mutoh was. And, like, literally you see those 2 names and you go, this is going to be a great match. And then it was 4.5 by Meltzer.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that in the next day or so. Because
Like
I know
I said,
I can find it.
Yeah, it's out on Internet Archive. It's easy to get to.
Yeah, G1 Climax 98.
Yeah.
Tape 1.
Was there anything disappointing at all?
No.
I mean, I think I mentioned the one thing that was kind of like, it's not disappointing, but like the reverse Achilles tendon hold.
It's not
when he first put it on, I was just like, what are we doing? And then all of a sudden, like, Chono tapped, and I was just like, what is this move? Because like at first I was like, is it the calf crusher, like what AJ Styles does? But like AJ makes it look like more.
Yeah, he throws the acrobatics into it,
more flashy, so it like actually is a thing. But like this was just like he's just squeezing the leg, and I was just like, we're tapping out to this. I was like,
but that's one of those things where it's like we're just not familiar.
It's a calf bear hug.
Yeah, but it is not particularly exciting.
Like I said, not disappointing. Just it was weird, and us not watching enough of these matches to understand what he does.
Yeah, I would put that probably as my most surprising moment, just because I'm not familiar enough with the moveset.
I mean, that's a good thing too. Best performer? It's Shinya, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm giving him a duel.
I mean,
Shinya and
they had
my dude.
Yeah.
Kazuo.
They did it together, and like one of those things too. It's like these guys already had crazy matches the last couple nights, and here they still put in 110%.
I mean, I guess technically Kazuo had the toughest run through this tournament because he literally beat
all the champions,
all the former champions, the current champion, the next champion, and technically his last matchup was against Shinya, who held the belt before
Fujinami.
Not Fujinami. Who did I say? I had it in first.
But yeah, they gave him this like run to concrete him in everybody's mind as
Cinderella story.
Yeah, they gave him the hardest schedule.
Sasaki.
Yeah, Sasaki.
Ah.
Yeah, Kensuke, who he who he beat. So it's like he had
it's
hardest.
right in front of me, the actual match.
But yeah, he definitely had the hardest
Yeah.
climb uphill.
Yeah.
And he almost pulled it out.
Yeah, for me it's him just because, I mean, I've seen Shinya before, but this was the one that made
This was the star
him
making,
jump out of the show at me.
He may not have won, but he became a star
he won
those
the
3
heart.
days. Yeah.
And then surprising, it was just that Sasaki went out as quickly as he did. I mean, I know he'd already had a match before, but was he actually, do you know, was he injured or was it just...
I think he was just on the
Storyline.
downswing. Or not, like
Oh,
maybe...
Kensuke?
Yeah. I think it was just his turn to stare at the lights.
Yeah, I think he'd been in the finals and like won. I know he had won the previous year.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So, I mean, that match is much longer than what we talked about. It's another one of those, like, they're literally just kind of chopping each other and putting submission holds on. That.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel in talking about it, the intensity and the what they're actually doing in the match.
But all of these matches have that intensity. And, like I said, it is just a clobber fest.
I mean, I will say Yamasaki going through the gauntlet that he went through is the most surprising thing.
Yeah, I didn't think
By
he was going to
far.
beat Kensuke Sasaki, and then when he did, I was excited, and then it made every one of his matches after that more
And then I
exciting.
was like, oh, he's not beating Chono.
Yeah.
And then he beat Chono.
Yeah.
It's like,
Didn't you say he beat Muda in the first round?
no, that was Tenryu.
Oh, that was Tenryu.
But he beat Fujinami.
Fujinami, okay, yeah.
And I wouldn't have ever thought that he would beat Fujinami because Fujinami's the champion at this point.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, and then he gets to the Shinya match and you're just like, are they going to do the underdog thing here?
Yeah, or
Like,
over Shinya, who hasn't won one yet. Yeah.
which I didn't know the context of hadn't won one
Yeah.
until that very last highlight package. And then that's when I went, oh, wait, let me go look at what he's done in G1s. And that's when I saw,
Yeah. And you're like, oh, they booked this perfectly.
yeah.
How nice.
Making their way to the ring,
It's trivia time.
Oh.
This week, the category is What Happened When?
What happened when?
So I'll give you 5 points if you get it correct, 3 points if we go to multiple choice. I'm going to give you a show. You give me the main event of that show.
All right.
And the show is Uncensored 1995.
Shit. What was that main event?
I'm trying to remember how many uncensored there is. Oh, no, never mind.
I think that might have been the first year.
Yeah, I want to say that was the first year, but
It wasn't Dustin Rhodes on
no, because
On an
that
18-wheeler.
that was like the first
a...
match.
I know. That's why I gave it away.
It was the first uncensored. That was correct.
Do you need a multiple? Or
I'm willing to go to it, yeah. 'Cause
The next one at least.
Before this, I was thinking of that terrible NWO sold out show.
I know this
with
is
all the
pre-NWO,
dancing ladies, and I was like, wait a
so
second, that's not uncensored. That's sold out. And then, but
I'm
that's also
trying to
weird.
remember what was happening at this time.
It's a weird era.
Like I don't no, it wasn't that one. I want to say that was Halloween Havoc, but I could be wrong because they did stupid shit.
On uncensored.
Yeah.
I'll go to multiple choice with
Multiple
you.
choice.
Buzz
Next
in.
Here we go. Hulk Hogan versus The Butcher for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship.
Jesus Christ.
Hulk Hogan with Jimmy Hart versus Vader for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Hulk Hogan with the Renegade versus Vader with Ric Flair in a leather strap match. or Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage with Jimmy Hart and the Renegade.
I'm going that one. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage with Jimmy Hart and the Renegade against the Dungeon of Doom or whatever and the Tower of Power, whatever the fuck that match was.
That is incorrect.
That was the one that was in my head, and it's like, well, if it's on the list, I'm going to say it.
And to finish that match, that was against Vader and Ric Flair with Arn Anderson.
Oh, yeah, I think...
Yeah.
So technically, he did not help you get rid of any of your choices.
Nope. You're welcome.
It's fine.
Just remember, Hulk Hogan is in the match.
Yeah, I'll go...
I mean, it's 1995. Of course, Hulk Hogan's in the main event.
I guess I'm going to go leather strap match because Uncensored had a lot of gimmick matches from what I remember.
That is correct.
That's what gave it away. Or like what I thought gave it away because I feel like those were gimmick matches.
Yeah, so Starrcade was him and Butcher. And then he started feuding with Vader. And they had the regular match. And then uncensored gimmick matches with the leather strap. And then the very next month, because Flair came back. And then that's when they had...
That was a fun way for you to put it together. Where you're like, oh, here's 4 months of pay-per-views or 5 months, however many matches that was.
It's all about the storytelling.
If only anybody cared.
Next week, Heatwave 1998.
That's one of the big ones, right?
That's the one you always talk about.
Okay, I was like, Heatwave, right? That's the one? Yeah. Because there's so many
CCW?
titles. TCW show. It's kind of the most famous ECW show, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
That'll be fun. I haven't watched it in a long time.
And they're not even in Philly. Woo!
Oh, they're not?
No, they're going to be in Ohio. ECW Dayton, Ohio.
Music from this week's show is The Score by Emerson, Lake and Powell. And Shinya Hashimoto won our main event, so we play his theme music. Bakushi Sengen by Osamu Suzuki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this era of New Japan theme songs. Although I'd love to see him come out to Go Go Godzilla.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you find your podcasts at. If you follow us on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you always know when the show shows up.
That's right.
And if you have any questions, comments, concerns,
We're going back to Ohio, folks. It's been a while. Give me some ideas. I've never been to Ohio.
Did you say Cleveland?
Dayton. Yep.
Insert Wayne's World joke.
Yes. But yeah, give me some ideas. What the fuck should I bring from Ohio? Food, beverage, dessert, something, snack.
No chili spaghetti.
that's
Come on.
Cincinnati.
I know it's Cincinnati, but they probably eat it throughout the whole state, right?
You don't want to have a three-way or whatever it's called that they do here at Old Coney Islander?
I don't love
Spaghetti and chili and cheese or whatever?
it. I don't love it.
No, same. But yeah, slide into our DMs, give us a shout out, hit us up on the old Twitter.
But you can always do any of those things on our email at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTO X. We'll talk to you next week.
Later!
Watch Japanese wrestling.
Yes.